What's up, beautiful people? How y'all doing today, man? Welcome to another episode of Dialogue with the Davises. My name is Cedric, and this is my beautiful wife. I ain't gonna hit you with all that stuff this time, so
I appreciate
you ain't
it.
gotta worry about it. You know what I'm saying? It
Hmm.
is what it is. And this is my beautiful wife, D. Lashana. And we have once again been blessed with the opportunity to come before you and sharing the conversation that we pray leads to some type of positive inspiration to occur in your space, man. We hope that it leads to growth. We hope that it leads to development. And we hope that it inspires or facilitates the opportunity for you to sit down and have a conversation with your loved ones or with your spouse, you know what I'm saying, and move in a better direction. So, man, listen, we're not going to hit y'all with all that stuff like we typically hit y'all with about, you know what I'm saying, it's been a minute and all that stuff. I know y'all tired of hearing that. But, you know what I'm saying, we've, again, been blessed with the opportunity to sit with you. So we're going to just come in here, you know what I'm saying, have a conversation, man. So, all glory to God real quick. We just had the opportunity to finish up our first marriage retreat, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So thank God for that. Thank God for the couples, and we appreciate you all that made yourself available, sacrifice your time, you know what I'm saying, and just opening up to that experience. God really was inspirational and moved in a mighty way in that space. We had some great conversations. We had some beautiful dialogue. We had the opportunity to explore different tools and different means that we feel like God has inspired and given us in His Word that facilitate growth in marriage. And man, it was just a great time, man. So all glory to God once again for us being able to embark on that and finally get the ball rolling. I know we've been talking about that for the longest, man. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? And it finally is moving. We got
Hmm.
some other ones coming in the future, so we'll make sure we keep you posted on those as far as the outcome. The initial ones, we pretty much have couples that we've identified. We're trying to allow God to operate and move in a way that He's inspiring this whole thing. But we definitely will be opening it up to um, other spaces, or you know what I'm saying,
Hmm.
just being in a space of being able to sit down and do it with other people as well. So, man, how you been, love? What's been going on with you?
Everything.
Everything,
Everything.
everything been going on with you?
Sure.
Like just,
School.
mm-hmm,
My school, your school, the kids' school.
yeah,
Milan's working.
yeah.
Brooklyn turned 18 today.
Man, say, listen, yeah, Brooklyn 18, boy,
18.
ooh, you
We
know
have
what I'm
three
saying?
fifths of our children are adults.
3/5 of, yeah, I didn't even think about it like
Ooh.
that. 3/5, boy, we got them in you, huh?
Boy.
That's a blessing right there.
Won't
Ooh,
God do it?
yeah, he will. You know what I'm saying? Won't he will?
Won't he will?
That what they say. You know what I'm
Won't he
saying?
will?
Won't he will? You
What
dig?
else is going on? The retreat.
Hmm.
Um, um, Toya, Chandra, and I had started Bible study,
Man, that's what's up right
and I'm
there.
excited
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Um,
Look at you.
just a lot. A lot is
Yeah,
going
you know what
on.
I'm saying? I ain't mad with it. That's what it is right there.
Mm-mm-mm.
What you for? I'm just saying, you know. But man, yeah. So again, just because we haven't been recording, it doesn't mean that we're not having conversations. As a matter of fact, we've become more intentional about documenting and jotting down certain things that we feel like would be of value to sit down and discuss during the podcast. So you know, we're being more intentional about that. You know, in the past, we were just kind of shooting from the hip. We're
I think we'll still be doing that, but
yeah, I mean, as far as we're not going to predetermine like what we're going to say, but the conversation, you know what
oh,
I'm saying, as it relates
absolutely.
to the subject of the topic,
Right.
we'll kind of like identify that in advance. But previously, man, we'll just sit down and we just be, you know what I'm saying, just kind of running it. Like maybe 2 minutes before we start recording, and be like, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So, you know, we want to be more intentional with regards to the subjects, and you know what I'm saying, mindful and sensitive to the things that God is allowing us to observe and understand that are taking place in different seasons of individuals' marriages, and man, just in you know the things that are going on with men and women in the world, man, in this current space. So yeah, today we got a conversation that I think, you know, my wife, this her thing, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and you know, I've kind of grown in that space as well because I didn't understand it, but man, we gonna talk today about is it unhealthy to be attracted to or to find other people? Am I saying this right?
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about if it's a sign of an unhealthy marriage, if you find other people attractive when you're out in public, or just, you know what I'm saying, in whatever space. So since this is something that you typically will broach with regards to the things or the conversations that we have about that, I'm gonna go on and follow your lead.
I mean, but you still gonna have to talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk.
You nervous?
Yeah, no, not really nervous at all. You know
Then what is it?
It's, you know what I'm saying. I know the conversations that we have, and I know the stuff that, you know what I'm saying, we've gotten to a place of being comfortable to talk about. But I don't know if that is everyone's space. So I want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, we're mindful of the things that we're saying and communicating, and what we've come to learn just throughout, you know what I'm saying, our time together with regards to, you know, that whole space or whatever. Because I mean, just because you get married, it doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying, you don't see other people as being attractive.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, and this was something when I was, you know what I'm saying, early on in our marriage, I feel like I had a very immature, you know what I'm saying, outlook on it. I basically would kind of, you know what I'm saying, try to ignore that it was true. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would find other women attractive, and me and LaShawna would be in public, and she'll be like, oh, that young lady has a nice shape, or, you know what I'm saying, she has a nice body, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And she wouldn't do it with men, and that's why I used to feel like it was a setup, honestly.
Well, I mean, but I wouldn't say to you, oh man, he has nice arms. That would be weird.
Yeah,
I think it's different for men than it is for women. You know, I don't know. I know for a fact women look at other women and say, oh my God, she has beautiful legs, or she has a great butt, or she has beautiful eyes, or whatever. I don't know that guys look at other guys and be like, man, he has a big old neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if men do that.
Nah, we not.
So when we're together, and I see someone who's attractive, I say, oh, she's really pretty.
Yeah.
Or, oh, she has a great shape. Or if we're in the gym, you know what I'm saying? She has a great, you know, whatever. I'm not going to say that to you about a guy, though, because then you'll be creeped out.
But how would you feel if we was in public and I saw a dude and
I wouldn't like it.
And I was like, he
no, and like it.
You wouldn't like
no.
it? Why not?
It's weird.
It would be weird?
Because it's different for men.
It's different for men?
Men don't typically do that.
Nah, we don't, you know what I'm saying? And the reason being, I think, is because of that whole space of, you know what I'm saying?
Being worried how you would be identified.
How you would be perceived, you know what I'm saying? But because now, you know what I'm saying, I'm in a space, if I see a cat and, you know, he dressed nice, or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not necessarily observing a level of attractiveness.
You might say, oh, yeah, like that's a nice, you know, suit he has on.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's different than body. When we're in public, I might, and I have said, oh, I love her dress, or I love her shoes, or whatever. But I also would say, oh my gosh, she has really beautiful legs, because, you know, I love legs.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so I say, oh my God, her legs are so pretty. If you were to say to me, man, he has some nice legs, I mean, I wouldn't. It would just throw me off a little bit.
Yeah, it would.
I'm like, yeah, well. I'm like, yeah, so let's talk about something else.
Yeah, you want to change the subject.
Yeah, real fast.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you know,
it's just
cool.
And it's not anything against anybody.
Yeah.
It's just that would be in our situation. It would just be different.
Yeah. So, but now give me your take on, you know what I'm saying? Do you feel like if a woman or a man, you know what I'm saying, finds themselves being noticeably attracted to someone when they're out in public, or someone at work, or whatever else, do you feel like that's an indicator of those two individuals having an unhealthy marriage or unhealthy perspective towards marriage?
No. I don't feel like if you find other people attractive, your marriage is unhealthy or it's in danger. I feel like if you have lustful thoughts about that person, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think lustful thoughts would be in trouble even if you weren't married.
Yeah.
Because you can find yourself in a situation. But if you're out in public and we're not together and you see a woman who's attractive, I mean, I don't know how you could not see that she was attractive.
Yeah, definitely.
If she has the things that you like, the things that you find attractive, and they're all packaged up really well, I don't know. I think it would be impossible to recognize that you find her attractive. If we're riding down the street and I see a certain car that I like, I recognize that car.
Yeah, bet.
If we're riding past a restaurant and that's a restaurant that we like, I recognize that's that restaurant. If I see a pretty house, I recognize the house is pretty.
Yeah,
so I don't know that you can see a person and not recognize that they are attractive if they have what you like.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you look at that person and you're like, oh man, and then your thoughts go to inappropriate thoughts, then that's the problem.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, it's crazy. Interestingly enough, I had just finished taking this class about just the biblical approach to counseling and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that in one of the books that I read that they were saying is that like these desires that we have, you know what I'm saying, they're desires that have been given to us by God. Like God, you know what I'm saying, gave us the desire to be attracted, you know what I'm saying, and the things that we find attractive. But the book was saying that what makes it something that becomes sinful or something that becomes inappropriate is when you try to fulfill those thoughts in an unhealthy way, or you know what I'm saying, fulfill those desires or whatever in an unhealthy way or in an unbiblical way. You know, I've been you know what I'm saying, talking to a lot of brothers lately as it relates to just sexual immorality. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And you know, like when we're having that conversation for those brothers who are not married, you know, and they're still out here, you know, doing their thing or whatever, it's not me, you know, beating them up about, you know what I'm saying, hey, you need to immediately stop doing X, Y, and Z, so on and so forth. But you know what I'm saying, there is the conversation about, hey, you know, God created, you know, sex to be enjoyed in the context of marriage. You know what I'm saying? So we have those type of conversations. But to your point about, you know what I'm saying, if you're beginning to fantasize or have lustful thoughts about this individual,
That's when you're in trouble.
then that's when I feel like there's an indicator with regards to something maybe a little bit off balance within, you know what I'm saying, the framework of your marriage, or just the way that you know, see that whole space or that whole piece. You know what I'm saying?
And then too, I don't even know, and I think it's a fine line, but I don't even know if it means that there's something. I think if you start feeling that way and you start, like you're saying, maybe acting on your desires or have lustful thoughts, whatever, I think that can be dangerous for your marriage. But I don't know that it necessarily means there's something missing in your marriage. I think that like cheating and, you know, infidelity as in all, I think that is a personality thing. I think that is a you thing. You can have no marriage is perfect.
No, it's not.
So someone could say, oh, my marriage isn't perfect, that's why I did. But no one's marriage is perfect.
Yeah.
So you were just looking for an out.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? But I think if you have something going on, it doesn't mean that your spouse isn't doing something, or your spouse isn't giving you this, or your spouse isn't doing that. It is a personality thing.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
there are some people that just will not cheat under any circumstances.
Yeah, definitely.
And there are some people who are going to cheat regardless of the circumstances.
Yeah, for real.
They can have the best husband in the world, and he's attentive, and he communicates well, and he listens well, and he is doing all the things. But if she's a cheater, she's gonna cheat.
Yeah, she gonna do, and the same thing with men.
And same thing with men.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's almost like the individual is looking for a reason to, you know what I'm saying, get into that space.
And it's usually something within themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's like they feel maybe a sense of
inadequacy in some areas.
And there's something else going on. Yeah, I don't think that I don't feel like it could be that it's necessarily an indicator there's something wrong.
Yeah, bet. You know what I'm saying?
Not every time, not all the time.
But then you know what I'm saying, because you know the Bible is clear. Like, you know what I'm saying, Paul in one of his epistles, he you know what I'm saying, is very intentional to tell those that are married, you know what I'm saying, not to go long or extended periods of time without meeting one another's physical needs. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bible in that epistle, he talks about husbands, your bodies are not your own, and you know what I'm saying, wives, your bodies are not your own. And in the context of what he's saying is like basically, hey, you have these desires, you know what I'm saying, and you've been blessed with the covenant union of marriage to, you know what I'm saying, enjoy this desire that has been given to you by God. So make sure you don't, you know, deprive one another too long, because what will happen is the enemy will, you know what I'm saying, get in between you and,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying, begin to tempt you with certain things with regards to just those physical things that you're drawn to. You know what I'm saying? But now let's say this. How do you manage that whole piece where, you know what I'm saying, there's something that you find yourself physically attracted to that your spouse may not possess. You know what I'm saying? Like, say for instance, if you're an individual where you initially were in a season of your life where there was one physical thing that you were drawn to, and now as you've grown older, you now become physically attracted to something else. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel like is a healthy way of navigating that in your marriage to ensure that, you know what I'm saying, there isn't something that is giving birth to that creates confusion or causes a problem or damages the health of your marriage? Does that question make sense to you?
Well, I think that if you go into a marriage and you are attracted to one thing physically, and your spouse is that, and then it changes, I don't know.
Because say for instance, like you've heard people say before, and this is in the context of what we're talking about, but it may be veering off into something else. You've heard people say before, oh, when I first married him, he was in the gym and he didn't have a stomach, and his arms were lean, and you know what I'm saying, his chest was this, that, and the other, and he took care of his body. And now, you know what I'm saying, we've gotten older and he's not in the gym, and you know what I'm saying, he's not as in shape that he as he once was. Or, you know what I'm saying, you'll hear men say, man, after she had the baby, her body just didn't get back to what it was or what it was used to, or you know what I'm saying, whatever else. So in that instance, do you feel like those things, as it relates to addressing them, with regards to what you're now seeing publicly being attractive to you, do you feel like that now is an indicator of something, you know what I'm saying, more in depth of your marriage that you need to address?
Well, I think if you are not attracted to your spouse anymore, then anything could happen anyway.
Yeah, bet. Okay.
Because you're not attracted to them anymore, and I think in fairness, you should have that conversation with them. I think that in marriage there are some conversations that are extremely hard to have. I think there are some conversations where there's no way that the person's feelings will not be hurt.
Yeah,
they're
definitely
going to be hurt. But I think that you owe it to that person to be honest, even in the face of whatever the result will be.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think at the same time, if you see, for me, the outside person is never the issue.
Yeah, bet.
It's never his or her fault. They're just, they're whatever. Everything that's going on is you and your spouse. So if you're not attracted to your spouse anymore, then it's not because that other person has a great body. You're just not attracted to your spouse anymore.
Yeah, that's a you thing.
And that's a you thing. And so you need to have that conversation, and you need to be prepared for whatever their response is.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's a hard one.
You think that's all?
Yeah, because I don't know, because it seems like their body changed, but the way you love them also changed. So it just seems like it would all change where it would cover it. Does that make sense? Okay, so his body isn't what it used to be, or her body isn't what it used to be, but you love them different anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
So it seems like.
But that's why I asked that question. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about if being attracted to someone else is an indicator that
your marriage is unhealthy.
Your marriage is unhealthy. But then when you begin to unpack that, especially if it's a thing where, you know what I'm saying, you're saying, hey, I find this attractive, and you don't even possess that. Like, now, you know what I'm saying, and not maybe the marriage in its entirety, but maybe the individual, or, you know what I'm saying, those two individuals need to sit down and really have a discussion to ensure that this doesn't turn into something, you know what I'm saying, that becomes more of a problem. Because you and I have sat down and we've had that conversation before. I know there have been times where you've expressed to me that, hey, you are you sure you still find me attractive or whatever else? You know what I'm saying? And me kind of like the same, because I was fine when we first met. Like, I ain't had no stomach. I ain't had no.
But in our case, I like you better now, so that it works in your favor.
In my favor, it worked. So me being a little chubby and cheesy is.
But you're not cheesy.
I'm just.
And
saying.
I don't feel like you're chubby.
Okay.
I just don't like. I like a. But the thing about it is. it worked the opposite for me.
All right, so now
Because for me, you grew into the body I like.
see that what I'm saying. So look, so when we first got married, then you was like, his little body.
I was like, he got potential. I can.
So that's why you feeding it.
I can.
Trying to get your plump.
No, but I mean seriously, I think that when we got together, I was smaller, and you were smaller. As I got bigger, you got bigger.
Yeah, we got bigger together.
We got bigger together.
Yeah.
But I don't mean bigger like in a fat way. I just mean in a grown-up way.
Yeah.
And for me, I like a bigger man. So it works in my favor.
So for you.
So I'm more attracted to you than I was to begin with.
Bet. But
it's also different.
Yeah, it's a different type of attraction. But
right.
but then again, that goes back to, you know what I'm saying, the context or what we're talking about, the health of marriage, because now of a person's marriage, because now just like for ourselves, like I too find you more attractive. You know what I'm saying? The older we get, I have a appreciation. You know what I'm saying? And love you in a different way. But I've never, but you know, you and I have talked about that in the past. Like to me, physical attraction was one thing, but that wasn't the thing that would always hold my attention anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you were beautiful when we first met, and like, you know what I'm saying? You still are beautiful. I don't want you to think like I'm calling you a booger wolf or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You clean that up.
Yeah, real
yeah,
quick.
Fix it.
So, but you're still beautiful, and I still find you very attractive. But the thing was that made me more attracted to you is when we would sit down and have conversations. So now the physical aspect was cool, and that was kind of like what caught my eye, but that wouldn't have been a thing that would have kept my attention anyway. So for us, I think the dynamic is different. But I know sitting down, running it with different brothers about different things who are married, and that's something that has come up before. Like, man, you know, I'm being, you know what I'm saying, like tempted by different things that I see, or I'm finding other women attractive. Like, is something wrong with me? And it's like, nah, ain't nothing wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a natural desire that has been given to you by God. You just need to exercise self-control. You need to exercise obedience. You just can't be out here just on some like, oh, yeah, I'm about to do my thing. I'm about to be, you know what I'm saying, fantasizing about this person or whatever else. It's just simply, you know what I'm saying, you saw something, you found it attractive.
So I think this conversation is like an onion. There are a million layers to it. In the way that I feel like, yes, you are going to find other people attractive. And no, it doesn't mean your marriage or your relationship is that it's unhealthy. It can be put in danger if you respond to lustful thoughts.
Yes.
But if you are finding yourself attracted to someone, I think you need to quickly take inventory of what is going on and figure out if, you know, it's almost like I don't eat meat.
Tripping.
If I'm not hungry, then I'm definitely not going to eat meat. But if I have to wait for 50 days to eat anything,
you think you'll eat a piece of meat?
A burger don't stand a chance.
It
does not. In 50 days, I'm going to eat a burger. And here's the thing. Even when I was eating meat, I was never a fan of like a homemade burger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if I got hungry enough, then
you would.
So I said that to say, it has to be extreme. There has to be something. I don't know. This is a hard one. I think there has to be. It has to be. If you find yourself where you are contemplating doing something that is going to be, once you do it, you can't undo it.
Then it's already too late.
Then I don't know if it's too late.
I'm gonna say it's already too late, because you know what I'm saying. Like we me and my brothers were having that conversation, and interestingly enough, me and Jordan were having a conversation the other day during our time together, and it was like, okay, there are these things that, you know what I'm saying, you'll be tempted to do, but there'll be multiple steps that lead up to you actually, you know what I'm saying, committing a sinful act. You know, Jesus said, you know what I'm saying, like on that subject, like, you know, once you've looked at a woman and lusted after her, you know what I'm saying, that's already, you've committed a sin. You know what I'm saying, according to what Christ teaches. But you know what I'm saying, when you have this situation in place where you see someone that you're attracted to, and then now, you know what I'm saying, you begin to think about the fact that you're attracted to them, and then now, you know what I'm saying, later on after the fact and some time has passed, you've thought about that person again. I feel like that's kind of like a dangerous space to be in, and it doesn't necessarily indicate that your marriage is, you know what I'm saying, unhealthy, but there may be something unhealthy in you that you need to address that can spill over into your marriage. You know,
and in that
saying?
moment, you also have to have some emotional intelligence and realize, I might intelligence, not intelligent. I might be feeling down about whatever, or I feel neglected, or I feel he's not listening, or
go ahead. I'm listening.
Or he's not doing this, or he's not doing that, and so naturally that the other person is going to magically do all those things.
And but see, now we get into another, because you get into somebody that, because that's a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if you work with somebody, or you see this person every day and you're attracted to them, now that's a whole nother. Because like you say, this is an onion. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because now we and I think we've talked about that before, about the inappropriate relationships or whatever. But I want to talk about just like in passing, because if you
see somebody in passing, I think if they're in passing, you may not ever even see that person again.
But yeah.
So I just don't know that I could. And here's the thing, I know that people have different struggles.
Yes.
My struggle is not that I'm going to see a man in the store and 3 weeks from now I'm fantasizing about this man that I saw just walk by me on aisle 8. Like, it ain't that deep. Like, he just walked by. But again, for someone else, they may have just in that moment been like, ooh, and I just didn't. I don't know. And
not a, you know what I'm saying, individual is locked in that thought. But see, this the thing as well. You know what I'm saying?
It's wild.
What's wild?
If you are thinking about somebody 3 weeks later that you saw on aisle 8,
that's what I'm saying.
That's wild.
That's what I'm saying. But for some people, you know what I'm saying, they wrestle with that. You know, and not to condemn anyone. You know what
Absolutely
I'm saying? Like,
not.
this is a conversation to be had, because you know what I'm saying, I think there's an unhealthy narrative that may be, you know what I'm saying, perpetuated in different, you know what I'm saying, circles or whatever else, where it's been communicated that, hey, if you think other people are attractive, there's something wrong with you, and
that's
there's something
absolutely
wrong with
wrong.
your marriage, and that's absolutely wrong.
That's absolutely
so
wrong.
as we're talking about it in a roundabout way, you know what I'm saying, of course, bringing a highlight to the topic itself, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying, being mindful of those different dynamics that exist within the context of this conversation. It's like some people wrestle with that. So now, you know what I'm saying, and this is not necessarily, again, like we said, an indicator of something being, you know what I'm saying, neglected in their marriage to an extent, but at the same time, something within them. Because just like, why you? Men different. Men are different. Men are, because that's just like, you know what I'm saying, when I was younger and very immature and not understanding biblical standards, principles, and practices. Like, when I would sit down and have conversations with men, and you know what I'm saying, they were thinking about messing with other women and they were married, the guidance that I would give them was some completely unbiblical, worldly, like, foolishness. I'd be like, say, bro, you know, just don't, if you think about it, just know, nah, I ain't gonna never tell you.
You said when I listened, I thought, listen, you said before, I didn't know.
Yeah, so I'd be like, you know, if I would make them think or give them counsel to make them comfortable in the fact that, say, bro, I was so girl, and it's 2 weeks later, and I'm still thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Well, now it's like, say, bro, yeah, we got to sit down and talk about that, because that's different. Because that's something within you that you need to kind of, like, you know, deal with. But then again, even in the context
that girl,
of marriage,
she don't even know she's in danger.
I mean, I don't know if she's in danger.
2 weeks later, she's in danger.
I don't know.
Like, if you're thinking about...
You think
yes.
she in danger?
I think if you're thinking about somebody that you, like, okay, if you work... Seriously, she is. So, like, if you work with this person, then you see them all the time. If this person is someone who works at a particular store that you frequent, and you see them all the time, if, you know, whatever, if you saw this woman randomly on aisle 8 and you're still thinking about her 2 weeks later, she's in danger.
Right,
that is frightening, and
to a degree.
That is it because what?
but men, that's what I'm saying. But men are different.
She's in danger.
Yeah, but men are different. I mean, but not just we different.
Okay, so let's. Let's go. Let's just because I'm creeped out. Let's just go to something else.
But now we're gonna keep talking about this because now you brought up another point. You know what I'm saying? Something to consider. How do you respond in a space where you work with somebody you find yourself attracted to, but you're married? Because me and you was talking about that the other day, and you was like, I'm going to HR, and I'm gonna tell them I gotta
absolutely
move,
for
and,
me.
You know what I'm saying? Everything else.
For me, because of the jobs I've had, I was always in a position where I could have moved.
Yes.
I recognize, so before anybody jumps on me about that's unrealistic, I recognize there are some jobs
that you can't
and some positions where you're stuck. This is your job, this is where you're gonna be, and yes, you're in a office and it's just the two of y'all and you're just gonna be in there.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And in a situation like that, I think you need to really seriously get with your pastor or whoever, and you need to be figuring out how you can. I don't want to say pray it away because that sounds. Crazy.
I mean, prayer is powerful, but you can't pray.
You can't, but I think that you need to be in prayer heavily,
definitely.
And you need to definitely. The number one thing for me, acknowledge what you feel and stop pretending like it's not
like
that.
It's not happening. Yeah.
Like, don't be in, every day talking about, I'm not attracted to him or I'm not attracted to her, and they are absolutely, your thing. Don't, because for one thing, it's immature. It is extremely childish. It is reckless, and it's dangerous.
It's very dangerous. Yeah.
So identify it and then go from there, because if you don't acknowledge it, then you're gonna get in trouble.
But and it's the thing, because like you said, to your point, you know what I'm saying, not everyone is in a situation where they can distance themselves from, you know what I'm saying, that situation. But
you can limit your interactions that are not work related.
How you go, because that's just like how do you go to your spouse and express to them, and again, this is something that I feel like you should have the ability to do in your marriage. You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't feel like this makes your marriage unhealthy, to be in a space where, you know what I'm saying, you're attracted to someone else, but the inability to talk about it, you know what I'm saying, I feel like shows that there's something that needs to be addressed, you know what I'm saying, in the context of your marriage. Reason being is because the moment that you feel, you know what I'm saying, that physical pull, you need to sit down and have a conversation with your spouse. You need to sit down and have a conversation with your significant other.
It depends on the person.
If it's depending on the person, granted, but like, because and just like you said, because if not, that's a dangerous space to be in. You know what I'm saying?
And let me clear that up when I said depends on the person. What I mean by that is it depends on the two people that are in the marriage.
Yes.
Have I created a space for you to be able to say to me, I work with a woman that I do find attractive, and I just want to let you know because I want you to hold me accountable.
Yes.
I want you to check in with me and make sure.
Throughout the course of the day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Make sure we're doing
or have I created a situation where you can't talk to me about anything without me going off?
Yeah.
If I've created a safe place for you and then you don't talk to me about it, that's a you thing, it's not a me thing.
Yeah.
If I've created a place where as soon as you say there's a woman at my job, I'm already throwing stuff, then that's a me thing.
Yeah, for real.
You tried.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the person. So I think that it's very important for people to, ideally start before they even get married. But that's not always the case. You mature as you get older. You mature as you grow in your relationship with God. But you need to try to have that in the very beginning of your relationship, where you establish like this safe place to be able to have very
difficult conversations.
Because there are some conversations you're going to have that are going to be almost impossible.
Yeah, that and see, to your point, because because that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, that the hold me accountable piece, or you know what I'm saying? Make it where I'm checking in with you more throughout the course of the day to make sure, you know what I'm saying, I'm interrupting potential interactions that may continue to further develop this attraction that you have. And because again, you know what I'm saying, the mental aspect of it and the physical aspect of it is you know, definitely, you know, a pull or a draw. But it's like, to your point, if how do I process that? You know what I'm saying? Because like for me, it's like I have to realize that there's no such thing as a perfect human being. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost. So I can't take it personal that if you come home and tell me, hey, you know what I'm saying? Because we have the ability to talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Like early on in our marriage, we were very immature, and I don't think we did. Which is why I hope this conversation, you know what I'm saying, helps someone in a, you know what I'm saying, positive way. What?
Who wasn't?
I mean, I take, I wasn't.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Listen.
I mean, but I've always been
But
like,
you
oh,
can't, because like you tell me now, like you be like, boy, because you like David Banner, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah,
listen.
you be on your little David Banner trip, and it be like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even be, it is what, but early on in our relationship, you couldn't tell me nothing about no David Banner and be around here talking about, boy, that's an attractive man, and this, that, and the other, and talking homie up, and then I wasn't gonna be like, say, bro, what's happening with you? It was gonna
I'm
lead
like,
to,
he's fine.
yeah, I mean, and that's cool. Because we can do that now, and I don't feel personal about, like, I don't feel in no way, shape, or form, you know what I'm saying, inferior to David.
And you
Banner.
shouldn't.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, not at all. But in a space of people who have that thing that they're wrestling with in their marriage, and this is present, and then you can't sit down and have a conversation. I really feel like, you know what I'm saying, you should be able to create a space in your marriage to have these types of conversations, because if not, then what will happen is you'll find yourself in a very dangerous space where now you don't even provide your partner with the support that's needed to help them navigate these different channels or these different challenges. Because there will be environments where, you know what I'm saying, you may work with an attractive man, or the husband may work with an attractive woman, and they find themselves drawn to that. So now you have to have that presence of mind, as well as, you know what I'm saying, the support and thing exists in your marriage that allows you to be able to have these types of conversations. Because again, like I said early on, I was very immature, so that would have been a difficult conversation for me to have. But had somebody really sat down with me and, you know what I'm saying, given us some adequate insight on what it means to be married, and we would have had some decent marital training, or we would have had access to conversations such as this, I feel like it would have made a difference in my ability to be able to look at that for what it really is. Because again, like I was saying before the camera cut off, I have to remember, we, like, all of us are imperfect. You know what I'm saying? We were born into sin. So you know what I'm saying? Just like there are things that God has given us, those desires and things that are healthy, and, you know, he created them for them to operate in a certain context. There are also certain things where, you know what I'm saying, your flesh is going to have you drawn to as well, that is completely, you know what I'm saying, unhealthy. So managing that in the context of a marriage is extremely important, and I feel like that begins with you and your spouse being able to sit down and the other individual not take personal what's being communicated to them. So say for instance, you telling me that, hey Cedric, I work with this man and I think he's attractive, and you know what I'm saying, I'm working in close proximity with him. I'm gonna see about going to do X, Y, and Z to get out of this situation, to not have to work so closely with him or whatever else. But then, hey, look, I just want to let you know so we can be praying about this together, or so we can be in a space where you're mindful and you're aware of it. So we're making sure our intimacy doesn't, you know, lack in certain areas, that it doesn't wane, and we're still doing the things that we need to do to facilitate and ensure that the health of our marriage remains intact. And I won't take that personal, you know what I'm saying? But there was a point in time in our marriage where I would have taken it personal, where I would have been like, man, how's she attracted to somebody else and this, that, and the other, which is a very unrealistic mindset. Because you get married, it doesn't mean that you stop sinning.
Right.
It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's something where you definitely need to be able to sit down and have those particular conversations with your significant other, for the reason of the health of your marriage. You know what I'm saying? Because being attracted to someone else, and we kind of beat this subject up, so we're gonna kind of like wrap it up at this point. And I feel like we really should have given more time to what you should do in the environment where you work with somebody that's,
So we'll
you
do
know what I'm
that on
saying?
another
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, in another podcast. But like at some point, you have to be able to sit down with your spouse and realize that the different nuances and the different inner workings of the things that are taking place are not always personal, or not always, you know what I'm saying,
But-
some dig against you.
So that also though comes from, I believe, and I don't think it's, you know, again, it's not one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you are reassuring your spouse, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that, you know, your spouse needs you to constantly be, you're so beautiful, you're so smart, you're so
Yeah.
kind. I'm not saying that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm saying if you make your spouse feel
Mm-hmm.
beautiful or handsome and desired and appreciated and all the things that you should be giving them anyway,
Yeah, I
then
agree.
I don't feel like, you know, if you will never tell me, you know, oh, you look really nice today, or you know, I really love you, or you don't give me the attention that I need, because we all need a different kind of attention. If you don't give me what I need and then you come home and you work with somebody who's attractive, we have a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I'm not getting any of what I need or any of what I desire, and yet you have the time to find someone attractive and then have the audacity to come home and tell me they're attractive. Because now I'm feeling like it'll make me feel insecure.
Yeah.
Where if I feel, you know,
But should you feel insecure though? That and see, and that's why I say.
I think it depends on how you and your spouse interact.
Yeah, bet. So I mean, and to that point, man, I feel like there needs to be. So we're gonna say it one more time. Being attracted to someone else is not an indicator
No.
that you have an unhealthy marriage.
No.
But my caveat is this: if you're in a situation where you're working with someone, man or woman, and you find yourself attracted to them, there needs to be a space in your marriage that allows you to communicate and articulate what it is that you're feeling without the other person taking it personally. And the reason I say that is because already for it's big for your spouse to come to you and say that in the first place, because
It
that's
is.
not something, you know what I'm saying,
It's not
society
easy.
is gonna tell you, hey, yeah, you should do. They'll tell you to try to deal with it yourself or give you some unrealistic, you know what I'm saying. But now that gives you the opportunity to ensure that you're working on the intimacy in your marriage. That gives you the opportunity to pray together, you know what I'm saying, about this particular situation. And as you're addressing these things together and approaching them together, I feel like that physical attraction will at some point wane anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it'll get to a space where you've been intentional in your marriage to the degree of, you know what I'm saying, not allowing this to be something that is as threatening as it would have been had the two of you not come together to sit down and discuss it. And of course, if you got brothers or sisters in
I was
Christ,
saying then that's the
you know
time
what
for
I'm
your
saying?
accountability partners.
Yeah, your brothers and your sisters that you do life with, you know what I'm saying? Like how we always talk about the importance of community. You sit down and you have a conversation with them as well and say, hey man, look, I'm telling
I
y'all
saw a
this.
girl on aisle 8
on aisle
5
8.
weeks ago, and I'm still thinking about her.
Say it. Listen, check it out. I'm gonna be like, say something. Let's talk.
So then here's my question though.
Yeah.
If you saw her on aisle 8
Yeah.
5 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and you're still thinking about her,
Yeah.
and then you go back to the store and see her again, now what do you do?
Whew.
Because I feel like she might get snatched.
Now she ain't gonna get snatched. It's just gonna probably further that's just like we seen videos, you know what I'm saying, and now we off topic because we getting ready
Because
to
we're
wrap
about
up.
to end it. Mhm.
But that's just like you seen videos where a man or a woman, they'll come on social media and they'll be like, hey, I seen this person, they were riding in this, we were in this store, whatever else, and they do a whole post trying to get people to help them find a person.
Yesterday, they saw him yesterday, or they saw him this afternoon. They saw him this afternoon. They're not saying, oh, I joined the military in 1999 and it was this guy. And his name was, I think his name was, and then you be talking about, if anybody knows where he is, that's creepy.
I mean, yeah, the 99, yeah.
That's
This is 2025.
6 weeks ago is creepy.
I mean,
In 6 weeks, you could have a baby. You could have a baby in 6 weeks and then go back to work.
All right, but yeah, that's what it is. So man, listen, you know what I'm saying?
That is
This is the
good.
thing that we intended to communicate with this podcast,
Okay.
man. That again, for the 99th time, because we want to make sure this is clearly heard and
Absolutely.
communicated. Being attracted to someone else is not an indicator that you have an unhealthy marriage. But what it does do is it gives you an opportunity to make sure the intimacy in your marriage is in the space where it should be, and that, you know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying, it is healthy. Making sure that you and your spouse create a safe place to talk about things such as this is extremely important. People get married and they have this misconception that, oh, when I get married, certain things are just automatically going to cease or just automatically going to stop, and
Hmm.
that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? So we're sharing this with you all in hopes that it will be of some benefit, because again, like I said, early on in the marriage, that wasn't something that I could talk about, but had someone explain to me that physical attraction doesn't stop because you get married, and it's not an indicator that something is wrong. It's just something that you need to make sure you deal with and address in a biblical way, in the context of, you know what I'm saying, you and your spouse being one flesh. It would have made a significant difference over a period of time for me and my wife to be able to sit down and discuss certain things. So, make sure as you entering into the union of marriage, or, you know what I'm saying, you are already married, and you have you know what I'm saying, some things that you need to be able that some things that you need to work on in your marriage as it relates to communication or whatever else. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, having the ability to have difficult conversations is one of them.
Hmm.
You If you can't have difficult conversations without taking it personal, or if you can't have difficult conversations without, you know what I'm saying, being able to be an adult and manage the feelings and the emotions that, you know what I'm saying, may arise in that particular moment, so you can get to a healthy solution, marriage is not the place.
Hmm.
Like you know what I'm saying, marriage ain't. Yeah, we that's gonna be a difficult one for you to, you know what I'm saying, enter into. So it's extremely important to be able to sit down and have those difficult conversations. And nah, man, it ain't no, I ain't worried about little David Banner. You know what I'm saying? Cause like I tell you on a regular, he fool around. I'm gonna just put y'all on child support. I'm gonna put y'all on. Oh, and I want my child support on time. Cause David Banner got bread. Send me my say, and he. I don't.
Look
He
at
might
this,
watch the
but
podcast one day.
at
Listen.
this point, he only gonna pay you for 2 kids.
That's all right. Say, son. If you pull up and you come get her, just be prepared to run me my bread, son. You know what I'm saying? More definitely, run me my bread. I'm telling you, that's what it is. Or if you got a little change, I've been seeing you on different little stuff. You're dressing different. Oh, send me my bread, son. You know what I'm saying? Period. But nah, in all seriousness, it wouldn't be that easy. You can't get
No,
broke
it
out there.
wouldn't.
But
I'm
like,
not.
you know what I'm saying? Those are things that we can sit down and laugh about and have fun about. Well, because we, all glory to God, have gotten to a space where the health of our marriages, you know what I'm saying, in a pretty decent space. Not perfect, like we said. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage, but there is a such thing as a healthy marriage. So,
Hmm.
man, I'm finished with that. I ain't got nothing else to say. You got something else you
I'm
want?
good.
You good?
Hmm.
I said, man, listen. Once again, if you're new to the channel, and this is your first time being a part of one of our conversations, we humbly encourage you to subscribe to the channel. We also ask that you would click your notification bell so you'll know when we are dropping new videos and new content. And man, share with other individuals that you feel like would benefit from the conversation. Again, this is something that is inspired by God. And all glory to him for whatever it is that we're doing. But in the context of talking about things in a biblical space, we also want to make sure that we're having conversations that are actually practical, or, you know what I'm saying, that actually align with what's going on in life, you know what I'm saying, on a day-to-day basis. And taking a biblical approach to them, you know what I'm saying, is extremely important. But you first have to have the ability to sit down and identify them, and, you know what I'm saying, know what they are, and talk about them in a healthy way, man. So again, that's what our intent is. That's what our, you know what I'm saying, desire is in this particular season, and that's what we're going to be obedient to do. So again, man, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, share the content with your people, you know what I'm saying, if you feel like it's been a blessing to you. And man, continue to work on the health of your marriage.
Hmm.
Marriage is something that, you know what I'm saying, is a beautiful thing. if you have the tools and the resources and the things that are necessary for you to make sure that it is healthy. So, you know what I'm saying? Again, you sure you ain't got nothing to say? What you want to say? Oh, you dialogue with the Davis?
Yeah, I want, you know,
yeah,
I want you to see my,
your shirt?
you know, your little,
little shirt, yeah.
show a little shirt.
God, you only be having
Little
Ralph
shirt,
on.
shirt.
Yeah, we gon' yeah, I'm about to start. Ralph, I still rock with you. I ain't putting you down, but I'm about to, yeah. Because we about to record another podcast after this, too, and I'm going to have these same clothes on. But we going to talk about something different. So y'all just know that. You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
mean, you
listen,
know.
we gonna, yeah, that's what they, because we got a lot of
People
stuff
wear
to
their
talk about.
clothes all day. People wear an outfit all day.
Yeah, because we got a lot of stuff, because again, just because we ain't been on camera don't mean we ain't been talking. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, man, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for spending your time with us for this conversation. We pray that it's been a blessing to you. And, man, listen, you all enjoy the remainder of your day, man.
Send some comments. I'm going to get better, I promise. I'll start doing better with responding.
Oh, with the comment?
Yes.
Yeah, that's your lane. Yeah,
I'm going to respond.
Yeah, you say I just throw you under the bus? So listen, if somebody say something, there don't be no, that be on her.
I'll do better.
Yeah, that's what it is. Bet. That's what's up. Say, man, y'all enjoy the remainder of your day. Peace.